Hey, Internet friends. You know how we've been saying for years that nearly everyone in Washington, D.C. is crooked, laundering money overseas, and putting Americans last? Well, Internet friends, you were right once again, but it's even worse than we thought. Way worse. Today, we're diving into a major shakeup in U.S. foreign aid that's got everyone abuzz and the cockroaches scattering. Today, we're talking about USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, and how recent actions by the Trump administration and Elon Musk are changing its future. I'll break it all down for you in this video. The U.S. Agency for International Development was established in 1961 by President Kennedy. And it's a large independent group that works around the world with its stated intention of providing help with health programs, education, and disaster aid in over 100 countries. It's essentially the agency or organization through which the U.S. offers help being in air quotes, to the world. So here's where it gets juicy. On January 20th, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order to freeze all USAID funding for 90 days while it's being investigated.
USAID, or what's going on?
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
Elon Musk, you didn't create USAID. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create USAID, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him.
This series of actions halted the organization's projects worldwide, or really halted their whole grift worldwide. And now certain members of Congress are throwing tantrums on TV because think of the children. Think of the children, right? They're saying that this halt could lead to global instability as though we're so stable and well-adjusted already. It just seems like the never-ending payday for these people is over, at least for this agency, at least through this agency. Weirdly enough, and I say weirdly because I remember back when all the MAGA people hated this guy, Lil Marco Rubio. Secretary Marco Rubio is now acting as USAID head.
What's USAID? What's happening at USAID and how the plastic are.
Well, look, I mean, my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so.
Here's where this investigation gets interesting, and I'm officially invested into this reality TV drama. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is handling part of the USAID investigation. Musk has called USAID a ball of worms and suggested it's beyond fixing. After his commentary, USAID's website went down and their X account vanished. Then enter stage left, 2 USAID security officials were sidelined for not letting Musk's team access classified info. So far, the investigation has revealed very controversial oddities and expenditures that the American taxpayers are footing the bill for.
And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look. Because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either.
We have a whole list here, so hold on to your butts. I'm sure this whole list is only the tip of the iceberg. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces and business communities, including millions of dollars a year to expand employment opportunities for the gay community in Serbia. $70,000 for the production of a DEI musical in Ireland, funding for the first transgender healthcare clinic in India, and the Transcare Clinic in Vietnam. $30 million to the WITS Health Consortium in South Africa for HIV research among sex workers and transgender individuals. Heck yeah. Allegations of USAID funding research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where COVID-19 is believed to have originated.
Function research,
That's not the
as
question.
you know.
The question is, did you fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
Before my time, there was the PREDICT program with which you're familiar, which ended in China in 2019.
This is a $200 million program, and the GAO has also identified that some of these grants went directly to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where there is a suspicion that the lab leak began the pandemic.
This one's good too. Funding for the irrigation canals in Afghanistan, which reportedly benefited poppy cultivation, indirectly supporting the opium trade. Also in Afghanistan, they proposed building all these hospitals, and millions of dollars were squandered on these health scams, and none of the hospitals were ever built. I forgot to put on my geopolitical voice and pronounce this correctly. Okay. In Iraq, $20 million for an Iraqi version of Sesame Street to promote the LGBTQXYZ agenda. They were also funding transgender operas in Colombia. Moving on, large investments in programs like disability inclusive climate action and an indigenous language technology program in Guatemala. In Haiti, their favorite place to exploit, post-2010 earthquake, $1.1 billion was spent on a port and power plant project promoted by President Bill Clinton. The project never built diddly squat. And this was interesting to me. They even fund the BBC, specifically BBC Media Action, to the tune of millions. Myself and others have been harassed by the BBC before with terrible articles written about us, misquoting us. You're telling me that my tax dollars in some weird loophole is going to fund inflammatory articles about myself, me, and other independent media? Are you kidding me? That's before we even touch on the Jimmy Savile topic. Each one of these bullet points certainly deserve its own deep dive. And while Americans struggle with inflation, taxes, skyrocketing costs, unaffordable rent and home prices, debt upon debt, USAID is squandering away taxpayer money to ideologically subvert various foreign populations while labeling it as humanitarian aid. Don't you want your money back?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
Just call it what it is. The whole thing is a CIA front. That's what it is. And we're their piggy bank. Every single person who has gotten on TV and cried about this, about the humanitarian fallout, I got something for you. Something a little special. I found it in my back pocket, and it says every single country, including our own, would be better off if the U.S. was not helping or giving humanitarian aid to foreign countries. They would be better off. This has gone on far too long. Also, it prompts the question, what else is being wasted behind the scenes? Actually, now that I think about it, because it doesn't fully encompass the nefarious edge to human suffering. That is inevitably the result of all of this. So what do you think, internet friends? You know, I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, supporting my channel on Patreon, and buying my book, The Deep State Encyclopedia. Bye. Also, tell me if you want a Department of Education video. I have like 5 hours to film today, so let me know.